To open house tonight. This video is for anyone who wanted to review the information from open house or simply if you were unable to attend. My name is Elizabeth Ashley Walker and I'm one of the 8th grade teachers here for language arts. And I'd like to give you some information about both my course and in general what the 8th grade English team is doing this year. So in order to share some of this information with you, I have created a slideshow that'll kind of walk you through some of the highlights. All right, so we're in our language and literature course. So when we're able to return to school, which obviously, Plan B was passed last night, safety and cleanliness are going to be a priority. So if you're able to donate any supplies later in the year, things we definitely could use would be Clorox wipes, hand sanitizer, paper towels, Kleenex, anything else really that you think would help keep the students safe in the classroom. So this year we are kind of piloting the EL curriculum for 8th grade. So both 7th and 8th grade are doing this, and it's specific to CMS. And so you'll notice that in our Canvas modules, it's labeled EL curriculum. Each of the modules is divided based on novels. And so currently we're in our first module with Summer of the Mariposas, and you can see it right here. This is the book that we're reading. Most students have access to it through Sora, and they're able to borrow that digitally. But if you would prefer a print copy, we do have those available at school as well. So this book is really interesting because we are having the opportunity to explore different themes in Latin American folklore and highlight some of the topics you can see down here of theme, point of view, and really delving into different aspects of the character. The EL curriculum has a couple of, I would say, core principles. So there is a heavy emphasis on learning vocabulary in context, and also learning vocabulary in terms of being able to break it down based on the prefix, the root, and the suffix, which is really helpful for determining meanings of words that are unfamiliar. You'll also see certain things like maybe a gist tracker that students will be working on every single night, and we will have different performance tasks that will bring everything together at the end. So organization, each teacher does organization a little bit differently in the Canvas course. Specifically for me, I'll go over some specifics. Every class, you should see a couple of similarities because it is based on the EL curriculum. You can see most of the time things like an entrance or opening ticket. There's usually a section that lists vocabulary in the gist statement, and typically there are going to be assignments labeled either work time A or work time B. Sometimes there is additional assignments like a prepare for learning, which would assign that nightly reading. So we're going to take a second to look at a sample lesson so you can sort of see what your students or your children would be seeing. So this is my Canvas course. You can see right here there are different due dates for assignments. Also, another good tool for students as well is to click on this calendar feature, which is pretty interesting. And when you do that, it links up and shows all assignments that are due on certain days. If we click into modules, let's just take a look at a sample module. So let's take a look at, we'll go with this one, right? You can see there's an opening entrance ticket. So in this case, there was a survey this day. There's some information about the gist and vocabulary log, and you can also see that I've listed an agenda. I think an agenda is really helpful for organizing. You can see that we have our daily learning targets that are also here. You can see this would be an example of where they would update the gist tracker and vocabulary log and some specific information about the chapters that they're reading. And then this takes us into different assignments that would be due. So there typically are handouts, usually in work time A or work time B, and this is what students would turn in each day. And we're trying to keep it simple, so we're trying to keep it to maybe 1 at most 2 assignments to submit a day. And that's kind of a general overview of what it would look like. And everybody's course might look slightly different depending on, you know, the teacher and how they choose to organize that course. Okay, so for me, each lesson has an agenda. I've also tried to assign dates specific to the lesson so that if someone's absent, they can look back and say, oh, this is what happened on Thursday. And they can go back through that agenda and see what assignments are due. And there also, if you look in Canvas, there will be a date assigned to specific assignments. So if it's that work time B, you know, that would be assigned as well. Okay, so like I said, we're trying to keep it simple. Most assignments are only going to have that one lesson that's due. And I do try to update on Friday a list of vocabulary words and assignments that have been completed that week, just to make it a little bit easier in case anyone's absent or they just need another point for organization. SchoolNet is one of the few items that we use that is not linked into Canvas, but it is how we take our mid-unit and unit test. We have taken a mid-unit test last week, and tomorrow we will be taking a unit test as well. And so the scores for those will appear in SchoolNet and then be uploaded to PowerSchool. So in terms of absence, if you have to be absent, whether it's for one class or whether it's for the whole day, your best point of contact would be Ms. Simpson in the office. She's the only person who is able to really reverse those unexcused absences. And then if you know you're going to be absent, it's really helpful just communication-wise to let teachers know. And we can also shoot an email back to you letting you know what you might miss that day. Another way to keep organized as well is to use those dates in Canvas. Okay, so there is a link right here to my syllabus. Now, once again, this one's specific to my class, but this information with parent conferences and Canvas Observer information would be true for any of the language arts teachers. So their syllabus would look much the same. Okay. So you'll see some basic information about the course, but really what I want to focus on are these 2 bits of information right here in the center. So let's say you need to schedule a conference. This link right here in the syllabus would take you there, or if you go to the RMS website and you go to Counselor's Corner, the form would also be there. So that would be a way that you could request a conference and we could set that up digitally. And it goes directly through the counselor. Additionally, if you need some support with Canvas, whether the students need some help, there's a guide right here. There's a link to this guide. And if you as parents are interested in having access to the Canvas course and being able to see it as an observer, there's some information in this link as well that will take you there and help you to figure out how to get set up. So for example, if I were to click this link, I would see something like this. But all you have to do is click down here where it says, how do I log into Canvas as an observer? And this is going to give you some additional information, and you can go in and then you can register and you can see what your child is doing in that course when they've logged on, things like that. So it gives you a little additional information as to what's going on in the course. All right, well, thank you for joining me tonight. Hopefully this answered a lot of questions, and we're going to have a wonderful year.